because Facebook is not reliable. It's like it's just unstable. And I think around the time that we get on, there's a lot of stuff going on Facebook. So it just gets real unstable. It's like there's a lot of people online at that point, and for some reason, their server's just not handling it and all that. But that's why we here on YouTube, man. We here with the monster, man. We on YouTube. I don't know if you heard. KD was trending again last week, man. Did you hear that? He was on. He actually it was a couple days ago, so not last week, but he was going back and forth with fans again, man. He was saying that the Brooklyn Nets are the most hated on team in the NBA, and he referred to them as being like when Hulk Hogan joined the NWO. Would you agree?
Yeah.
My problem with that is, all right, NWO formed, and it was something we had never seen before. Kevin Durant, what you did is what LeBron had already done.
He just did
10 years earlier, and what you had done 3 years earlier.
He just did it better than LeBron.
Yeah, he chose. Yeah, he did it better. He did it smarter.
Yeah.
He says, yes, I'm going to go to a fully stocked team, fully prepared, and fit in under their salary cap without having to sacrifice the entire franchise for the next 12, 15 years or whatever. Actually, LeBron's done it twice. The second time in Cleveland, I won't say he did it wrong. It was just that Kevin Durant outdid him.
Yeah.
He trumped him when he went to the Warriors. But that's my thing. I can't say it's like NWO because that was something new. It was something exciting. And all three of those guys had stood on their own and made it happen, had been to the top of the mountain. If we're going to even use wrestling as a measuring stick. None of these guys, Kyrie, KD, James Harden, have really made it to the top on their own. And James Harden and Kevin Durant know what it's like to lead a team and have a winning record without having a super team. Kyrie knows nothing about that.
Right.
Kyrie is more like, I don't know, Big Papa Pump. He was a big part of NWO, but he wasn't on the level of
I'm not.
Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and Hulk Hogan.
I'm not going to give him Big Papa Pump because Big Papa Pump, when the Steiner brothers was a great tag team, he was the lead dog in the tag team.
He was.
So I'll give him like Buff Bagwell.
Or maybe Saturn. Yeah, he could be Saturn. You know what I mean? But I really had a problem with, like, first of all, I still have a problem with KD going back and forth with people on Twitter because he takes super umbrage and his
ears is open.
Yeah, he gets in the dirt with the people. And then he's like telling people, well, why don't you explain to me what a double team is and how that works? And I'm like, dude, really, you should be focused on Team USA right now. That's what you should be focused on. I watched them beat Spain the other night, and I did not feel any more comfortable about Team USA than I was the last game when they beat Argentina.
Yeah.
Because I got to watch the replay of Argentina. I saw large portions of that game, and I saw the Spain game, and their offense looks disjointed. I don't understand what Draymond Green's purpose is to be on an international team. And I thought to make Team USA, especially when you're using all professional players, it wasn't about the biggest name all the time at every position. It's about getting what you need and having the most talented power forward you could possibly find. The most skilled guy, right? This is not a very skilled player, high skilled guy.
I think Draymond Green's only purpose on this team is to be the facilitator because besides him, they really don't have a person that can set people up.
And that's sad when you consider all of the talent that's on that team. I was like, you got Dame Lillard. I saw him out there.
He's a scorer.
Yeah, he could score, but setting guys up. Kevin Durant's not really a setup man. Zach LaVine, not a setup man.
No.
And I was looking at it, and it's literally what the NBA has become, which is easier for international teams to compete with them with that isolation basketball.
What did the Dream Team have?
Everything. They had two of everything.
Right. Mike could score.
True.
Barkley led the team in scoring.
Yep.
Pippen could score. Ewing, Olajuwon. I mean, not Elijah. I'm sorry. Karl Malone, Drexler, Mullen. They all could score.
Mm-hmm.
They had Magic Johnson and John Stockton as the point guards.
Yeah.
Point guards that can score, but want to make sure everybody else is straight.
Floor generals.
Right.
That's what they had, was floor generals. And I like that the bigs they had were bigs that were multi-talented too. Mm-hmm. You had Karl Malone, and I don't think people understand that was Barkley's, like, his peak of his powers. Like how you're seeing Giannis at the peak of his powers. For people who don't realize, this was the best Barkley you would ever see. And then the next year he wins NBA MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He was that great,
mm-hmm.
and he did so much more for that team than just score. He was really the centerpiece of that team.
Yes.
And it's tough, man. It's just tough watching them. Kevin Durant, X's and O's wise. Do you think he can ever be the leader? Do you think there's more room to grow for his game to where he doesn't need to be surrounded with a lot of talent to compete? Do you think he'll ever become that elite Hall of Fame player that lifts the rest of the team? Or is he just going to be the guy, I'm going to lift the team by scoring, by just putting the ball in the basket over and over again? And if we got the other stuff, then we got it.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say because of the NBA that we're in now.
Yeah.
Like the NBA that we're in now this is AAU ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you were cool with with a player in AAU or two, and y'all went through college together, and now that y'all finally in the NBA, you're gonna find a way to team up. So I don't think, like with KD, I don't think he's gonna be on a team long enough by himself to show everybody that he can lift a team to a championship. Because at some point, he might recruit someone, or his mans might be like, yo, like, I want to come out, I want to come over. And then, he's going to welcome him with open arms.
Which, that's what's happening on this Dream Team trip. Or I don't want to use Dream Team anymore. Team USA basketball. USA. Yeah, they might be the Dream Team because they're dreaming if they think that's going to get them through to the gold medal.
Yeah.
Do you think that the players that are missing, Devin Booker, Drew Holiday, and who else? Middleton. Do you think they're going to help out?
Yeah, I think they'll help out, especially Drew Holiday and Middleton.
I think Holiday's the piece they're really missing.
They're gonna bring defense to the guard position.
Yeah,
Middleton can play in international ball. He could play 1 through 4.
Mm-hmm.
Guard 1 through 4 in international play. Booker is just gonna be another mouth that you got to feed.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right. I was wondering that. How do you feel about JaVale McGee?
He's before McGee got there, the tallest player that they had was Durant.
Yeah, Durant. Yeah, and he doesn't play big, and he won't be able to do it in the Olympics.
And when they lost to Australia got 2 guys at 6'11". So they killed them on the rebounds. So McGee is gonna be able to rebound and rim run.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I can see that.
Now, I'm not saying that he's gonna be a big pickup as far as like, oh, this is the missing piece. No, he's just a big body that can rebound and block some shots for you, and be a presence in the lane. So now when someone gets beat, it's not a free lane to the basket. McGee can contest the shot. If you don't block it, you alter it, and then you can rotate your defense around that. But definitely. I think once Drew gets there, and he can pretty much take the opposing team's point guard out.
Here's a question. Now that
besides Luka.
Oh yeah. Here's a question that I had about the Olympics. Do you think they should still have the Olympics with all the athletes testing positive and having to drop out? You saw Coco Gauff dropped out this week out of tennis. Team USA had a couple guys turn up positive. Jeremy Grant's back with the team. He turned out he didn't have it. But do you think the Olympics should still happen? Because they're still on lockdown in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, so if they don't have it, do you think they should try this up in maybe 6 months, or they should just scrap it and wait till the next Olympics? Because we're almost 2 years at that point.
Yeah, I think if more people start testing positive, I think they should just scrap it.
Yeah,
like it's no point.
Yeah, it's no point if everybody's teams are decimated and all that.
Yeah,
I understand you have alternates and everything, but we want to see the best of the best, right?
Zach LaVine's in protocol.
Yeah. It's getting out of hand, and and it's so bad in Japan. The situation, it's like they're not going to be able to go anywhere and do anything anyway. There's not even going to be fans there. They're going to be playing in empty gyms. Here's a story before we get to the NBA Finals. Aaron Rodgers declined the 2-year extension this offseason. We're looking at it now on the TV. So it's not about the money, because they were going to make him the highest paid quarterback and keep him with the team for the next 5 seasons. I think that's ridiculous.
On whose behalf? On his?
First of all, for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get 5 more years out of Aaron Rodgers?
No. I think that might be one of the reasons why he turned it down. Like,
this is not what's going to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to fire this guy. I don't want to be here any longer. I want to win for the time that I'm going to be here.
And Aaron knows, all right, you're trying to give me a contract extension for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Aaron's smart enough.
Adding 2 years on the 3 years.
Yes. Aaron's smart enough to know that you just drafted a quarterback.
Right.
In the first round. You traded up for him. At some point, you want him to play.
Yeah.
So trade me now. Get something for me, because eventually he's going to be the guy. So why don't you see what you have now?
Yeah. Yeah, man. And my issue is, I still don't understand Aaron Rodgers. Only he understands. Well, I wouldn't understand. I don't know him. I don't know anybody close to him. I have no information. But I don't understand. Like, I would sympathize with him more if that team was just bad. Like, if it was a Matt Stafford with the Lions situation, or if they were just like middling out every year. But they're at the top, man. And I mean, how much more at the top do you want to go out? They went out and they drafted help this year in a lot of areas, and they signed a couple guys. I don't know. But I don't think Green Bay should be trying to give him 2 extra years on the 3 years. That's the organization bending much further than I think they should. People got to work with people they don't like every day.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, you have a team in place that can win the Super Bowl, that can get there and possibly win it.
I think like you said Aaron, Green Bay added pieces.
Yeah.
They didn't add any pieces on the offensive end though. Their whole draft was pretty much on the defensive side of the ball. And Aaron,
but they did give up a lot of touchdowns late in the game to the Buccaneers late in the season.
Right.
Yeah.
And Aaron is looking at it like, we're gonna have to outscore Tampa. Everybody knows I have one main target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The 49ers are coming back. Their defense is going to be back healthy. The last time we played them, they pretty much did what they wanted to do with us. We have to outscore these teams.
I'm one of the people that believe Aaron Rodgers is not the same quarterback he used to be. I'm one of those people that believe without the mobility, he's still very effective. He's still a great QB, still top 5 in the NFL. But Aaron Rodgers of 5 years ago was capable of doing a lot more with a lot less than the Aaron Rodgers now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm thinking, you have 3 years left. Mm-hmm. You know you're already at the top. Mm-hmm. Fill out the defense this year. Commit. Let them commit to one side of the ball. And then if there's that big name free agent that pops up, next year, go get them. Either way, you're going out near the top because your team is young, the rosters are replenished, and you're under the cap. You guys have flexibility available. So just play these 3 years out, man. Just play them out. I think the pressure of seeing Brady win one, it really did something to him.
That,
yeah.
And then I also think, like, what good was it to draft a quarterback for like you draft a player that can't help us right now.
Can't help us right now. And I understand that complaint, but also Aaron Rodgers has missed seasons before from someone pushing him on the ground. This is not a guy who takes contact well. Aaron Rodgers gets banged up. We've seen him break the collarbone twice and miss a season. With this whole roster built out and ready to compete, you needed a quarterback with some athleticism, with some mobility that can get the ball down the field to back up just in case. Because a lot of teams are only as good as their backup quarterback.
Right.
You know, the Buccaneers are extremely lucky Brady is as durable as he is because I don't know who the backup is.
I don't know.
I don't think anyone does. We don't know. You know what I mean? And backup quarterback is still extremely vital too when you're dealing with a much older quarterback.
And all right, you drafted Jordan Love.
That's the team first. If Aaron Rodgers cared, he put the team first. There's no way Jordan Love is going to come into camp and beat him out of his spot.
No.
Yeah.
Look, all right, you drafted Jordan Love in the first round. Cool.
Uh-huh.
But the rest of that draft, you didn't address any needs on the offensive end.
And you still went 13-3.
Now, this offseason comes along. You didn't check in to see if you could get Julio. You didn't try to sign Kenny Golladay.
Money is an issue this year for a lot of teams because they're coming off of having a year with no fans and no money.
So he's looking at like, you not trying to get me no other weapon.
Yeah.
I'm coming back into this when everybody knows he's going to go to Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything else reliable.
Yeah.
So it's like if Green Bay would have got Julio, if they would have checked in with Atlanta and got Julio, I think all the Aaron Rodgers talk probably would have died down because now he's like, all right, I got two horses.
I wanna know something, and I would like Aaron Rodgers to say, how do you view your division? I think the Vikings will be better this year. Mm-hmm. I think they found the guy who can kind of not replace, but basically the life after Stephon Diggs. They found somebody to fill that role along with Adam Thielen. But I don't think that they're a contender on the same level as the Packers. I think the Lions are going to be one of the worst teams in franchise history because Jared Goff is starting there. And I think he's going to be one of the worst quarterback choices they've ever made in franchise history.
Worse than Scott Mitchell?
Well, listen, Scott Mitchell, for all intents and purposes, they didn't have a good team around them to begin with. You know, you had a receiver or two in Barry Sanders, but the defense was bad and the O-line was terrible. Barry Sanders did a lot without an O-line.
Yeah, they just had one lineman.
Exactly.
Lomas Brown.
That was it.
They had Lomas, was the only good offensive lineman they had, and the only receiver they had was Herman Moore.
That was it. And they had what's my man? Johnny Morton.
Johnny Morton was there.
He was there, but they, you know, that was before his best year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, when they were actually getting near the playoffs. My thing is, and then you look at Chicago, they're putting Justin Fields in. This is going to be a losing season for them. Mm-hmm. But they're looking toward the future. I don't think Aaron Rodgers looks around and should see any direct competition until you get deep in the playoffs. Yeah. I expect them to get a first round bye this year. I don't think anyone from the NFC East. No, yeah. I think those teams is going to be Giants and Cowboys making the playoffs, rounding out that playoff picture. Everyone else not in the playoffs. Eagles, worst in franchise history. I think the NFC West is going to be a dogfight and there's going to be a drop off. And or somebody's going to fall out of favor in the NFC West because there's too many solid teams.
Well, the Rams just took a hit.
Yeah, Rams took a hit with Cam Akers being out, but they got Matt Stafford now, so they have quarterback play that can
overcome.
Overcome that. Mm-hmm. And then I think you can get a young running back that's talented that we don't know about, mm-hmm. and now it's your time to shine. So you just need a good, hard running back, or maybe a running back by committee out there that could help. Because all the weapons are there on the outside and that tight end.
Yeah, the Rams Matt Stafford just got to do little because of that defense is so elite.
That defense is so elite, yeah. But Stafford can get the ball anywhere on the field to anybody. They don't have to run underneath all game and run that college offense anymore. Mm-hmm. Seattle, I kind of don't know where they're at. They're always going to be in the mix of making the playoffs, but I don't know where they're at. And then you look at Arizona. I'm not so sure the greatest hits team, the greatest hits compilation is going to work because a lot of those guys are older. DeAndre Hopkins is not who he used to be. JJ Watt, not who he used to be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they signed a lot of players.
AJ Green,
not who he used to be.
And they lost Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
He's in Minnesota, I believe.
Yes. So I'm not so sure that there's a lot of teams in position to compete with the Green Bay Packers. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. This would be like Josh Allen saying, trade me or fire the GM because you didn't go get Julio or somebody else. There's not a lot of teams on our heels. We're at the top of the top. It's a matter of just going out there and winning that game to get over that hump. It's a matter of beating the Buccaneers when you see them in the playoffs. That's what I think it is for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, like breaking it down like that, I do see like the only team. If I'm Green Bay, the only team that I'm really looking at is in the NFC is Tampa.
Right.
Like New Orleans, they're Jameis. Like they're probably won't even be a factor.
Well, I don't even think they're going to let Jameis play, which is another mistake because I think old boy is a worse version of Tim Tebow.
Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I don't think he's a real quarterback, and they gave him ridiculous money. So, yeah, that non-factor. Panthers, non-factor. I'm looking around NFC. I don't see competition. I don't see it.
Like the Giants, like my defense. I'm counting on my defense to keep us in games. Like I need to see how healthy Saquon comes back week 1. I need to see Daniel Jones turn that corner.
Right.
But I'm really counting on like he better turn the corner with all the weapons we got him. But I'm counting on my defense to be because we were top 10 defense.
Yeah.
So I'm counting on us being there and holding it down and then letting the offense like catch up.
Yeah. If the offense can't hit a rhythm this year, it means this year you're a year away from next year trying to make that big move and make that push, striking while the iron is hot, kicking that window wide open. So yeah, it's just and I'm wearing my Buffalo Bills shirt today. Shout out to everybody watching. I see the likes. Appreciate it. Keep it coming. Indio Group. It's your boy Chris, Super Dave. We here. NFL training camp is underway. Yeah, and about 3 teams. Buffalo being one of them. The rookies have reported. Just how amazing is it to know that football is right around the corner, man?
Football is
and we get a 17-game season, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, a lot of records are going to be in jeopardy with that extra game.
A lot of records.
What record are you most interested to seeing broken?
The rushing record. I think it can happen, and I don't necessarily think that Derrick Henry's the only one that can do it. I honestly believe Dalvin Cook possibly could do it. I could see him doing the all-purpose yards record. Also the touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. I could see that single season touchdown records. Those are the kind of records I could really see.
The record I see being broken this year is the record that I don't want to see broken.
Which one?
Michael Strahan's record, 22.5.
I still think that's tough because quarterbacks are getting the ball out a lot quicker these days. And I don't think there's that one elite defensive end that out there like Michael Strahan. That I just don't see a lot of those guys in the NFL these days.
I think Chase Young can get it.
Chase Young is maybe the only one.
I think he can get it.
They try to put TJ Watt in there, but I think
TJ Watt's more like a linebacker.
Yeah, right.
He drops back. Like Chase rushes pretty much every down.
And as good as TJ Watt is, I think he's a product when the defense is playing well, he plays well. But we saw late in the season
when Bud Dupree got
exactly when guys get hurt, he tends to fall off. So that sack record though. If it did get broken, it would be by somebody like Chase Young.
Aaron Donald can break it, but I think with him playing in the interior,
it's too hard. It's too much attention on it. They're just going to get the ball out to avoid the sack. So it's just going to be what they normally do. Let them through. We're going to drop it off in the flat. And, we'll rather take a loss that way than get our quarterback hit.
Now, if Aaron Donald was on the end, then I would say he could break it, but I think Chase can get it.
Yeah, man. Also, I don't want to see passing yards go through the roof because there's nothing I hate more in football than undeserving quarterbacks throwing for 4,300 yards. You know what I mean? If I see Kirk Cousins throw for 5,500 yards, I'm gonna be sick to my stomach. And I'm not necessarily one of the people that like the guy or dislike the guy, or I don't like him either. I just don't. I feel like passing records now they're really diluting things.
Yeah, because it's a passing league.
Yeah, and it's
a passing league.
Yeah, I just think anybody can step back there these days. If you don't throw for 4,000 yards, I think you stink.
Yeah, like it's a passing league. You can't hit the receiver. You can't hit the quarterback.
Yeah,
like,
can't jam anybody anymore.
It's open. Like when we were growing up, it was all about the running backs. Emmitt's,
exactly.
Barry Sanders, like Thurman
receivers
Thomas.
had to block.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So teams back then focused on the run.
Yeah.
And then they let the play. They will run first, second, play action on third. You know what I mean? Now it's like you coming out in 5 wide and you just slinging it all around.
Yes.
So
spread offense.
So the passing numbers is gonna inflate like we have been seeing. You know what I mean? But I mean it's just a different football from what we used to.
Yeah, it is. It is. Do you suspect injuries will be up this year with that extra game? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think if they can actually get into training camp and then they can get their bodies like properly ready for the physical pounding that they're going to take, like I think injuries would be down. I think injuries was up last year because there was no training camp.
There was no training camp. Yeah,
there was no preseason.
Yeah, no preseason.
You just went right into live action.
Guys came out of quarantine straight to the facility, and they didn't get to go through their off-season conditioning programs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're going to see, and I think what you're going to see is the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomeses, the more young quarterbacks like Daniel Jones. You'll see a lot of these guys start developing a much tighter rapport with their veteran receivers. And you'll see a much cleaner offense these days.
Yeah.
Because last year, people were just throwing it together on the fly, trying to make it work. And I'm hoping I see progression out of like Lamar Jackson. I'm hoping they finally installed some vertical offense in there. I'm hoping they gave him some intermediate, some deep range. I'm just hoping they do a little bit more with the passing game, but I am excited to see which quarterbacks benefit from having a full preseason and a full offseason with their coordinators and their receivers too, being able to schedule those independent workouts and things like that, and working with your QB coaches. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. I'm pumped. We look forward to football season. Like we all grew up with football being the sport that we first loved.
The sport, yes.
You know what I mean?
The sport.
Football is the sport in the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's the cheapest one to play. All you need is a ball and some grass.
That's it.
You don't even need basketball. Basketball, you need a rim and backboard. Football, you just need hands, feet, and a football.
Yeah, we could play football in the street.
Right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm just happy football is coming back around. You know what I mean? Go Big Blue.
Real quick, I want to touch on baseball. How did you feel about the All-Star weekend last week? Did you feel like it was worthwhile? How did you feel about the home run derby?
I always love the home run derby.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It gives us a chance to, it gives them a chance to like showcase, their power. Like we don't get to see, unless you go to a game, you don't see batting practice.
No, you don't at all.
Home run derby was live batting practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always good. Like me personally, every time the home run derby is on, I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, but the All-Star game, it kind of sucked that, like with all the controversy, that it was moved from Atlanta because they were honoring Hank Aaron.
Yeah. I wish Hank Aaron would have got honored in his town.
I'm glad they still honor him by everybody wearing 44 for the home run derby, and then they doing what they did for the All-Star game. But
yeah,
I mean, other than them taking it from Atlanta, rightfully so. It was, All-Star weekend for baseball was good. Very underrated All-Star weekend.
Yeah,
I might add. Very underrated.
Yeah. Shout out to baseball. I'm happy for the home stretch. My Mariners is still hot. They're racking up the series wins, man. We're going to be in the Bronx in about 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Seattle, baby.
Yeah.
We coming.
Yeah.
Coming right on the third base line, man. Tickets still available if you want to come rock. But I'm loving it. And I think this is going to be one of the best finishes in a few years in baseball.
I got a question for you, a baseball question. Who would you give your AL MVP to right now out of Vladdy Jr. or Shohei?
I got to give it to Shohei because he's pitching and hitting. I mean, like I said, I think don't get me wrong. Last episode, I don't want anybody to think I was hating on Shohei Ohtani because I just want to see it over a long time before we start saying Babe Ruth. Now, you know what I mean?
Now, another question off of that question: if Shohei finishes with 50 and still has the sub-3 ERA,
it'd be the greatest season that I've seen in my lifetime.
And Vladdy's on pace for a triple crown.
Ooh, if the triple crown versus 50 and the sub-3 ERA, I got to go with 50 home runs and the sub-3 ERA because it's just, I haven't seen it. That's not from my era.
See,
you know what I mean?
Last time it was 100 years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're talking Honus Wagner times. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to give it there, but maybe they'll do a co-MVP because triple crown matters.
Triple crown
matters. There was, I think they were asking Aaron Judge on Instagram. I saw the clip and it was saying, what's the hardest skill? B-Mac sent me the video. And shout out to B-Mac. And it was saying, what's the hardest skill? Hitting a half-court basketball shot, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and something else, right? Like kicking a field goal or something, right? And I was surprised at the comments how many people thought shooting a half-court shot was harder than hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Have you ever stepped in a batter's box?
Forget hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Hitting a baseball is hard, period.
First of all, hit a 75-mile-an-hour splitter or a curveball. You know what I mean? Hit a breaking ball. A 100-mile-an-hour fastball is just terrifying. I remember being a young teenager and being terrified of somebody pushing 80 coming at me, let alone somebody trying to brush me back. And then you're talking about a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in 110-degree heat? With gnats flying around, I don't think people understand. Like, baseball is a grueling sport, man. Right now, the extreme heat, these guys are out there playing in it every day. You got to appreciate it.
All right. NL MVP.
I don't know.
I think it's pretty much down to two people.
Which ones?
I got Tatis Jr. and DeGrom.
If you get the Cy Young, I'm okay. If he gets the Cy Young, I'm okay with Tatis Jr. getting MVP. You know what I mean?
Even if DeGrom finished with a point under a run ERA? Because right now, I think he's under a run.
Who's having... Well, I was going to say who's having a bigger impact on their team. But, yeah, that's rare, too. We don't see that anymore. We don't see these dominant pitching seasons anymore. And he's evidently not cheating.
Yo, DeGrom has more RBIs than he has runs given up this year.
That's crazy. Yeah, and he's not cheating. They're checking, right?
They're checking.
Make you take your hat off and check your pants and your belt.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's doing this and not cheating, you probably got to give him all the awards if he does that.
Yeah. This might be the first time ever we've seen two pitchers get MVP and Cy Young.
That would be amazing. It'd be even better if we got to see him face off in the World Series, but the Angels ain't getting there.
No. And the Mets have a nice shot.
The Mets. They were a joke for most of my life.
Yes.
I remember my mom's friend gave me an 8x10 of Mookie Wilson back in the day.
Mookie.
And it was a autograph. And my brother ripped it up. He was mad at me at some point in our childhood. But she got me an autograph 8x10 of Mookie Wilson. And for my birthday, I didn't, I'm not a Mets fan. I didn't know nothing about it. But I'm like, that was the last time. Because in our lifetime, the Mets were never good. They tried several times.
They were good. They got to the World Series, Subway Series.
Yeah. But that was it was like a blip, and then it was over again.
Yeah, because then after that, I think they blew a 7-game lead in the division.
Yeah,
and in
September, it was a 9-game lead going into September. The Phillies caught them.
Yeah,
I remember that. It was a 9-game lead, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm happy.
Might have been the year the Phillies beat the Devil Rays in the World Series. Might have been that year.
It was because they had to postpone the one game and finish it the next day, and the Phillies beat them. I think David Price, they used his start on a game that got rained out or something. Yeah,
and then he come back in.
Yeah. So, but I'm looking at this Mets team. It's not looking like the Subway Series team where we're just going all in right now. This looks like a team that's going to be okay for some time.
Mm-hmm.
They're
all young.
Right. They're all young. It's not like when I say a team has been a joke, the Marlins have been a joke since I've been alive. But they've had those 1 years where they've gone all in. the year or two, and then they fire sale everything, get rid of it, and then try to build back up. But they never stay consistent or remain decent for an extended period of time. Yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be interesting finish to baseball. This is the part of the season where I tune in a lot deeper.
Yeah,
August, September.
Yeah,
you know, we're coming into that. So I'm happy, man. My Seattle Mariners, man.
Yeah, y'all. What are y'all? Are y'all second or third?
I believe we're second. All right, you know. Let's see, Seattle. Who do we have tonight too? Because I'm in my Seattle Mariners fan groups on Facebook, and I just love seeing people happy instead of seeing like those are some depressed people up there in Seattle, man. Sometimes, man, I get it. You know, I get it. The team is bad, so we're playing the Rockies tonight in Colorado, and we got Gonzalez on the mound. Yeah, we probably. I don't know. Tonight not looking too tough.
Should be a win.
I hope so, but I don't know, man. Let's see. We are third in the division. And as far as wild card standings, Seattle is third in the wild card, man. We're 3.5 back of Tampa Bay for the wild card. So I'm all up for it. It's plenty of time left.
Wait, is Tampa Bay in the wild card? Tampa Bay first?
Yeah, they're first.
So teams are chasing you because 2 wild cards get in.
Exactly. Yeah, they're first.
So it all depends on how many games you're up on who's ever third.
Half a game. Oh, well, all right. So it's Tampa Bay, Oakland, Seattle, and Toronto. Toronto's a half game back of us.
All right.
Yeah. And the Yankees are a game back of us where they need to be. So excitement, man. The Charlo fight. I didn't get to watch it. Let's talk about it. I want you to break down this fight because I hear Charlo wants a rematch. Or a rematch is wanted.
No.
Or the other guy wants a rematch.
Yes.
Okay.
Charlo, when they asked Charlo at the end of the fight, did he want to give it a go around? And he was reluctant to say he wanted a rematch.
Okay, that's what happened. All right. Yeah.
Yes, he started saying that, I'll do what my team wants me to do.
He brought up Al Heyman, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. He says, yeah, we'll see what Al Heyman wants to do, and then we'll take it from there. I do, yeah. Okay, so yeah. that was it.
Me personally, I think Charlo lost.
I heard a lot of bad reviews about him, and a lot of people were very disappointed in his performance.
I think he lost.
Do you think his performance was down, like he was exposed, or do you think he just didn't fight that well that fight?
I think he was exposed.
Ooh, interesting.
I think he was exposed. He came into the fight he was much taller than this guy.
Yeah.
He had a longer reach, but he kept allowing I forgot his name, Brian something, but he kept allowing, we're just going to say Brian.
Yeah.
He kept allowing Brian the shorter fighter to get into his body. And he was landing. He staggered Charlo second, third round. I want to say with the second or third round, he staggered him, but he was able to stand toe to toe with Charlo and like really survive punches.
Brian Castano.
Yeah. Charlo didn't hurt him until later in the fight. And then I was just saying, I'm like, all right, he's hurt, but he was able to survive the round.
Yeah.
Got to the corner, was able to regroup, and then picked up right where he left off at. Now at the end of the fight, I was cool with a draw, even though I thought Brian Castano won. When they said draw, I'm like, all right, I'm cool with it. But the part that I wasn't cool with, one referee had it 114. Okay,
yeah. You saw a draw.
The other referee had it 113 for Castano.
Okay.
The other referee had it 111 for.
That's the controversy I saw all over social media, all on the sports world. They said the fight was actually overshadowed by bad scoring.
Yes. Now, once they were saying, as soon as they said 117, I automatically shook my head because it shouldn't have been 117 for either fighter.
Yeah.
But then when they said 117, 111 for Charlo, I'm like, I did not see that at all. I didn't see 117 for either fighter. That's how. Now, Charlo made it close by winning rounds 10, 11, and 12. That's what made it close. But other than that, he was losing.
So you would have been happy with a draw?
Yeah, I was cool with a draw.
Okay.
I was cool with a draw. Like, even though I thought he lost, but when they said a draw, I'm like, because what was at stake? You have to get it right. Charlo put up 3 belts. Castano put up 1 belt. So all 4 belts was on the line. So you have to get it right.
This says Castano outlanded Charlo over 12 rounds by a margin of 173 to 151, according to CompuBox, including 164 to 98 power shots. That's a lot of power shots. Out of 173 to 164, that's a wild percentage.
Yep.
That sounds like Charlo took a beating.
Yep.
For much of the fight.
Yep.
How can you trust boxing though? Because I've seen some fights where, like, I think the worst I ever watched was Pacquiao Bradley. That was like, all right.
That wasn't the worst one. The worst one I saw was Pacquiao and Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn was Well, I watched both fights. I felt like Bradley was worse because Bradley was beat the hell up.
Yes.
And I scored that fight 8-4. It was, and that was being easy.
Yeah.
On Bradley.
Now here's the difference between both of them.
Yeah.
I saw both fights.
Yeah.
At the end of that fight, when who's the promoter for Top Rank? Bob Arum.
Yeah.
Bob Arum went to Bradley, and Bradley was like, "I'm sorry, I tried my best."
Yeah.
And they gave him the fight. With Jeff Horn, in the 9th round, the referee went to his corner and said, "You have to do something or I'm gonna stop this fight."
Right.
And they gave it to him unanimous.
And like, where's your trust level with boxing? Like, what do you think the end game there was? I mean, I understand you want to keep certain fighters propped up, but Charlo's a big name, but I don't think he's a big enough name to warrant a highway robbery in front of the world.
Right. I just think it's fighting. Like, a lot of the controversy, has been with Texas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're fighting in San Antonio. Charlo from Houston. You know what I mean? So a lot of the controversy with judges has been in Texas. With the Jeff Horn and Pacquiao fight, I blame Pacquiao.
Okay.
Because you're the champ. You're fighting a dude from Brisbane, Australia.
I remember that.
And the fight is in Brisbane, Australia.
Yeah.
I blame you and your promoters for even I'm not fighting you in your backyard because wow. If I let it get to the judges, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
And then we saw it. You know what I mean? But boxing has a real problem with these judges.
I think they need to open up what it takes to be a judge.
Yeah.
Like, what is the scoring rubric here? Do the CompuBox and the numbers matter? Because then that should be an official thing, and there shouldn't have to be a Letterman card, going along with the fight, like an unofficial scorecard, so people can feel more confident about what they're watching on broadcast.
No, I think the Letterman card, or like whatever TV network you're watching, I think there's always good to have that card because
that outside opinion.
Because me personally, like, I don't know about everybody else, but when I watch a fight, I normally score it myself.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
know what I'm looking at.
So when I score it, I want to see if I'm on par with what you seeing, because some judges looking at who's aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the 3 judges, you might say, all right, I want to see the cleaner shots. I might see, I want to see who's aggressive.
Right.
This guy might see
who's coming forward.
Right.
Right.
So it's like we all got 3. We're not in sync. So everybody has something different. So that's where the judging is different. But that 117, 111, I'm not sure what he was looking at, because if you were looking at aggression, Charlo wasn't aggressive.
Uh-huh.
If you're looking at punches landed, he didn't land more punches. So I don't know.
Yeah, those numbers look crazy.
I guess he just was like, all right, he has the bigger name, so I'm gonna go with that guy. Whatever he does, I'm just gonna go with that guy.
Right.
He probably was going off of crowd noise, because 1, when you're in your hometown, or 2, if you're the odds-on favorite, anything you do once the crowd gets hyped, you might be like, all right, he's doing something to win.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, boxing, the credibility of boxing is always under fire at least 3 times a year. And I would say the last decision I was disappointed in was the first Fury and Wilder fight, because I don't think. Now I still believe in, to beat the champ, you got to whoop the champ. We're not scoring this the same. If you want to be the champ, you need to clearly, definitely beat him. I can't give you that edge because it is so subjective. But I felt like because Fury touched canvas twice and Deontay didn't, I got to score this whole fight according to that, because you were hurt, my man. I can't clearly define if Wilder was hurt, but I know you were, because you were laying on your back.
With your eyes closed.
Like the Undertaker. Yeah, and if Wilder doesn't come towards you while you're down, you get counted out. So that's where I mean, I just want more transparency with the sport, but you're not going to get it as long as these promoters and there's boxing commissions involved. I don't think you're going to get any of that, and people lose confidence in boxing all the time.
It's all about money.
Definitely,
it's all about money. They like some of these sanctioning bodies and these promoters know if my guy is still the champ and he has the big name, I can match him up with another big name and the money is going to come in.
Right.
Like they're looking at it like there's no way that Brian Costanzo should not be the unified middleweight champion. He should not be. He should have been home Sunday morning, waking up to having all 4 belts.
Hey, maybe they're trying to line that up. Maybe Charlo, they want this rivalry to go down. You know, maybe boxing needs something. They need 2 guys with controversy that hate each other to fight multiple times.
But they know if Charlo still has these belts, there's a chance that we can match him over Canelo.
Wow. I think Canelo will destroy him.
Right. But when you see Charlo Canelo, the money's going to come in. Canelo Costanzo.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a ring.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Canelo, Charlo, the money's going to come in. The celebrity's going to be there.
And Canelo needs a big fight.
Right.
He can't keep fighting like guys that are past their prime. And so I don't want to see that.
So now Canelo just signed to fight Caleb Plant for the unified super middleweight championship. Canelo has 3 belts. Caleb Plant has the only belt that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
I'm glad that fight is happening. But I think we're gonna get a typical Canelo fight, because Caleb Plant, he doesn't have a lot of head movement.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that's gonna stand right there.
Standing right there and try to trade.
And he doesn't have much power. You know what I mean? So he's a boxer. You know what I mean? He has skills. He's basically the same as Billy Joe Saunders, who he just fought. You know what I mean? Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant are pretty much the same boxer. Caleb Plant might have a tad bit more skill than Billy Joe. But the reason why, like, I still got Canelo's gonna win.
Oh, of course.
The reason why I'm glad that fight is happening, because they were saying if Canelo didn't sign for this fight, he was gonna go back up to light heavyweight to fight Demetrius Bivol. People might not know that might not familiar.
Definitely doesn't ring bells over here, sir.
He is 16-0, and I believe 14 knockouts. He's a machine.
Oh, okay. All right.
And he's young.
See, boxing needs, it's time for some reform and some big changes, and that's it. And it's time to get that heavyweight division together. Maybe have a Super 4 tournament or something, or, you know.
Yeah, I don't think the heavyweight division is ever going to be the same again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's enough cultivation of bigger guys.
Remember when the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing was bigger than winning the Super Bowl?
Oh, that was
it was bigger than being the president.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Like now it's like people don't even know anything about heavyweight division anymore.
I think the Klitschko brothers killed it by each of them having those belts and never. Of course, you're not gonna fight your brother because it's you kill your brother in the ring. Like, why would you do that? But I think that's at the point when I think a lot of people really lost interest because, and then they weren't taking all the fights. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
and like we had hope when Deontay Wilder was a heavyweight champ because we're like, we have an American that's a champion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's what brought people back to the heavyweight division.
And he was a knockout artist.
Yes. Like, we have a knockout artist and the heavyweight champion of the world. So that's what made people like really pull for Wilder. So now it's like there's some people, some of the older generation of boxing fans really want Wilder to get back to the.
I want that.
Right.
I want it.
Right.
Because Fury is not an exciting fighter, but he's a pity pad fighter.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And they know if we have a heavyweight American champion, we know we're gonna see some boxing in the heavyweight division on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
When the Klitschko's was the heavyweight champs, everybody had to go to Germany or like that.
Yeah.
AJ's the champ. Everybody got to come to England. The only time he came to the United States, he got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
So as I know in his head is like, as long as I'm the champ, you're gonna come to me. So that's why we were kind of disappointed that Wilder lost, because now it's like we're not gonna see good heavyweight boxing.
We're not. And I'm just not excited to see AJ and Fury. But I know everybody's watching, waiting. NBA Finals talk. It's Game 6. By the time we come back for another episode, this series will be over.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks are up 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
They closed out a tough one. Probably one of the greatest plays in finals history.
They stole one.
Literally. Yeah. And Devin Booker, he did what I expected him to do when it was tough and it was physical. He got up in there, got body to body, and lost control of the basketball.
No. He didn't lose control.
Well, the ball,
Drew
took it from him.
took it.
But it was because without that, once he went in for that stiff arm, he's not moving Drew Holiday with that. And also, there's no call coming to save you.
No. He was PJ was guarding him, and then Drew waited for him to spin.
Yeah. That's what happened. It was PJ. He stiff arm. So he goes in, and then once he couldn't protect that basketball once he went in there, and that is a move where I say Kobe has the power and the lean and the explosion to get that shot up. He explodes off the floor, and then you get the floater or the step or maybe the fadeaway or the leaner.
Mm-hmm.
That's not Devin Booker's game. He went into traffic, and they paid the price for it. So Drew Holiday gives one of the most amazing alley-oops to Giannis, who people are still having the argument that he's unskilled, but it's exciting to watch, man. That was an amazing play. I was on the phone with someone and I screamed because I said, I thought he was going to fly out of bounds. I didn't think he was actually going to catch the ball. I thought he was going to hit the backboard.
Which was a terrible decision by Drew.
Oh, yeah. I thought he should have took it straight into the basket. That's what you would expect. But
or
you have Giannis.
Kill some clock.
Yeah, but you have Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best athlete in the NBA. One of the most talented, pure athletic specimens in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he is, as far as being a pure athlete, he is the modern day Wilt Chamberlain to the NBA. As far as pure athleticism, what sets him apart from everybody else. Nothing about his game or anything, just pure athleticism. Giannis is special. Mm-hmm. And what I saw was special. And that, to me, is the reason, that was always the reason why I felt like the Bucks were going to win this series. Because outside of Chris Paul, no one on Phoenix is special. I don't think Devin Booker is special. And I don't think DeAndre Ayton is special.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while. But we both picked Milwaukee in 7.
We did put Milwaukee in 7.
But I think it's over tonight.
I think it's over tonight too. Do you think Scott Foster being the official is going to play an issue or play a factor against Chris Paul?
No, I didn't. I think we could have officiated, and I think it was going to be over. I think Milwaukee, all they had to do was steal one in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Once they stole Game 5 and it was going back to Milwaukee, I think this is pretty much a wrap.
I've said it from the door. The most pressure is always on the team who has home court advantage because you have to protect home court.
Yes.
Dropping one, now the pressure's on you. It's double pressure because you've lost the game. Now you have to go steal one on the other team's home court.
And I'm a firm believer, like I've said it many times, like on this show and regular, just following basketball, like role players really don't show up on the road.
No.
So for Milwaukee's role players to play big like that in Game 5 to steal it,
Pat Connaughton better be getting paid when his contract is up.
Now when you go back home, role players play very well at home. And do you know Milwaukee has been killing them bench points with 2 players, Connaughton and Bobby Portis?
Listen, for what it's worth, Bobby Portis, this is a career comeback. I'm loving seeing Bobby Portis. He's a guy who had a lot of potential. He still has a lot of basketball left. He's showing people. I may have had my issues, but I can ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a real big man. I'm a real powerful. I can put the ball in the basket. I'm loving watching Bobby Portis play. And I'm excited. I would love to see. I think it's going to be great for the NBA to have your 2-time MVP of the last 3 years be the champion. I think that's it. It's the crowning ceremony. There's no super team. There's no taint on it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going back to who gets the MVP, Giannis or Middleton? Because I think it could go to either one.
It could go either one.
And I don't think either player should feel bad if they don't.
Right. I was just talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
And I was kind of leaning towards Middleton. Only because Giannis averages 32, about 12. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's gonna get it. The reason why I was leaning towards Middleton, not like numbers wise, because the points are not far off.
They're not.
I was leaning towards Middleton because he comes up big the most when Milwaukee needs it.
When the game is tight, Middleton's knocking down 18-footers.
Yes.
Contested.
And they're looking for him. They're looking for him in the crunch time more than Giannis.
Well, and also Middleton's looking for the opportunity.
Yes, he's
coming to get the basketball.
And a little something small that I paid attention to. Game 5.
Yeah.
Game 5. When it was crunch time, every time Giannis would go to the basket and he would get fouled and he would had the opportunity for the continuation, he passed it.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Heismo, shout out to Heismo.
Shout out to Mo.
We were in Fridays watching the game, and I heard someone not at our table was saying, why does he keep passing the ball? Doesn't he know if you hit a whistle, you throw the ball to the basket so you can get 2 free throws? Giannis was passing the ball because he doesn't want to shoot them free throws. At that point in time. So he's smart enough to know if I hit a whistle and I pass it, it's side out of bounds. You know what I mean? So I thought that was like something that I picked up on. But Middleton, on the other hand, he wants that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to go to the line. He wants that last shot. That's why I was like, I wouldn't be mad if Middleton got the MVP, but I know it's going to go to Giannis because of the numbers. But Middleton has been playing really big.
Well, and this team was put together the right way.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, I don't think anyone should be upset. I just don't think there's a chance that Phoenix gets out of here with the win. I think the way they lost that game was demoralizing. And as much as we love Chris Paul, and he was very deserving of winning the MVP this year for carrying this franchise as far as they've gone, he can't bail you out of this. He needs, because he's physically limited. He's smaller. And I'll always say this, right? I want people to know. I love Damian Lillard. I love Chris Paul. I love Steph Curry, but they can't do it by themselves. They're too small. That's always going to be my thing with Donovan Mitchell. He's going to need the right team around him because he can't physically dominate the guy in front of him or impact the game in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I said this the other day when we were at the courts. Everybody says, oh, Devin Booker this, Devin Booker that. All right, he's a good player. I don't think he's great. He's just a scorer. That's it. He's not explosive. He's not physical. He's not strong. The handle it's a handle. It's a litmus. It's like, okay, it's good enough to get a shot to help you create.
It's good enough to get to my spot.
Exactly. I said, replace Devin Booker with Paul George, and the Suns probably win this series. And they probably have a little bit easier time because George can physically impact the game where Booker can't.
On both ends.
On both ends. And he would take a lot of that pressure off of Chris Paul. And there's rebounding there. He can bring the ball up and distribute and set up the offense. There's a lot that they're missing in Phoenix. And honestly, timely injuries by their opponents have helped get them this far. And I want people to know I'm not hating on Chris Paul. He's still a Hall of Famer, still a top 7 point guard of all time, top 10, whatever. But make no mistake about it, he is the sole reason that they've gone this far. This is not a really good team that's there outside of Chris Paul. This is a 19-21 win team without Chris Paul.
I think the turning point in this series was Milwaukee is making Chris Paul play defense.
Exactly. I always said they should have gone that. I would have put him in the post several times.
And then that's what Drew is doing. Drew is taking him directly to the post. And then when there's a switch and he's wound up on Chris Middleton, he's going right to the post. So I think with them going to the post on him constantly is zapping his energy on the offensive end.
Well, and you're starting to see DeAndre Ayton get zapped because the game has gotten physical. Giannis is a lot more physical than him. DeAndre Ayton doesn't have a mean streak when he plays as a big man, and he's extremely limited. You can't dump the ball down him and have him make a move from the post. Not saying there's a lot of post players left in the NBA, but this is not a guy that's highly coordinated. If you're saying, hey, here's our play, let's go down low to him against Giannis. He's not winning that matchup. He can't get his position.
He can't even win a matchup on Brook Lopez.
No, not at all. And I'm just like a lot of people say I'm hating on Ayton and the Suns and Devin Booker, but it just is what it is. The Bucks' best three players are better than the Suns' best three players.
Yeah, they definitely got the better big three.
And the best two players play for Milwaukee. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you take the top players, 3 of them are in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Giannis, Middleton, Booker, Drew, and then
that's it.
Yeah,
man. Giannis averaging 32.2 in this. And oh man, that I just want people to say, yeah, it might not be the most high-skilled Finals MVP caliber performance, but you know what? Damn it, he's making it happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a lot of guys that are talented. We talked about this just off of playing in rec leagues, and I told you a lot of people are talented losers, right? Giannis, for all the talent he may not have, and just physical athleticism, he's not a loser. He's a winner. He's making it happen. He's using everything he has at his disposal, putting his body on the line, playing through injury, whatever, and he is dominating.
Yes.
He is dominating. He's not going to score any style points. So, it's just and I'm interested to see how the Bucks try to keep this team together and go forward. Like we talked about last podcast, I don't see Phoenix being back here. I see Devin Booker moving on. Because that's what all these guys do. They get close, it doesn't work out, and then they just eventually complain their way out of town. Because I think it's going to be hard to put together a contending team down there in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what all the stars / superstar / stars do when they're in small market towns, except for Giannis.
Yeah. And I also think that definitely happens if they mess around and max out Ayton. I believe DeAndre Ayton is a B-level big man. Not saying he won't get paid, but what is the difference between him and Zubac? Who does what better?
The difference between him and Zubac was he was a number 1 pick and Zubac.
Exactly. That's the same guy. Because this is another debate I had when I said Ayton is an average NBA player. Zubac is an average NBA player. You're not a bum. You're not a scrub. You're not below average. You're average. Average to above average at times, right? I'll even give you above average, right? But if you look at big men, he is nowhere in the conversation of big men that should be considered the third best on there in that big three. Like, hey, I'm one of the 3 best players on my team. He's a younger, like DeAndre Jordan-ish kind of guy. You know what I mean? There's limitations there. They have their games aren't similar, but
nowhere similar.
Yeah, they're not similar at all, because I think Jordan was a lot more effective on the defensive end, and he didn't draw as many bad fouls as Ayton does. See, one of the excuses that people have been making is, oh man, Ayton keeps getting in foul trouble, the officiating. And I don't want to hear about the officiating, because we saw Devin Booker basically bear hug Jrue Holiday and not get called for a foul when he had 5 fouls and 2 minutes left. He bear hugged him. I thought he was going to suplex him, honestly. I was like, yo, this is about to get out of hand. It was like above the rim.
Yeah, 40 points and 7 fouls. The first player in NBA history to do that.
Crazy. So, but people always saying, oh, it's only because Ayton's in foul trouble. He's getting stupid fouls because he's not that good. That's what happens to bigs who don't have anything to go to, and they're not dominant defensively. Mm-hmm. They're going to get bad foul calls. A la Enes Kanter, a la Dwight Howard. He does that. He's been doing that his whole career, picking up awful foul calls. He's in foul trouble because it's hard for him to move his feet, to turn his hips, to keep his hands active without coming forward. It's hard for him to keep verticality. It's just really hard, man.
And he's in foul trouble this series because they have him guarding Giannis.
And that's impossible because Giannis can go around him.
Yes, and Giannis is not a post player.
No.
So Giannis will get the ball at the 3-point line and just run to the basket. So now he's going to do one of his 2 moves, a Euro or the spin move, and he's quicker than Ayton. So once he gets by him, Ayton has to foul him. If you don't foul him, it's a basket.
I think what Ayton's going to have to really develop, he's going to have to become a mid-range big man. I think that's where he's going to have to make his money. I think, being able to knock down a consistent 17, 18-footer and, make a marginal improvement on the defensive end, I think that'll help his career. But there's nothing he does where I say, man, we could really use that on my team. If he comes to the Sixers, oh, good, a body.
Yeah, he's a backup.
Yeah, a warm body.
Yeah, he's a backup.
Yeah, he's a backup center. So that's all I'm saying. We both think that the Bucks will win. If it goes Game 7, I got the Bucks again because I just think that the Bucks are too physical. For all the threes Phoenix can hit, Milwaukee can take 2 whenever they want. And the threes, as we both know, threes don't fall all game. Yeah, not all game. They're gonna stop falling at some point. But yeah, man, it's a good show, man. We got through a lot. We saved the finals talk for the end. I want to flip the order, man.
Yeah. It's good.
I definitely want to flip the order this week. We got through a lot. Football is back. Training camp should be underway fully by the time. Hopefully, there's not a lot of major injuries. Cam Akers is out for the Rams. You said you foresee Adrian Peterson going there?
No, I was saying I don't see, like, if they're gonna go outside of their organization to fill that spot.
Yeah,
I don't see what other running backs can fill Cam Akers' spot. Like, we can say Adrian Peterson because it's a name.
Yeah.
But for what Cam Akers does, I don't think Adrian Peterson can do now.
Absolutely not. But hey, listen, running back is one of the most disposable positions in professional sports.
But
there's always somebody that can do a job.
And I think we're gonna have cuts.
Yeah.
So someone might get cut and wind up there. So we'll see.
This is one of the best things you can watch, man. All these people outside the stadium.
Yeah.
It just partying on the street. You know what? I want to see a good championship ride in Milwaukee, man.
Yeah. Nice little small market town.
Exactly. I want to see it, man. Championship ride tonight. Tear somebody's car up.
That's it.
Burn down a hotel.
Flip it over.
With no one in it. I don't want to see anybody. Yeah. Flip over a car. Go loot cigarettes. I don't know. Do something. Milwaukee fans, enjoy it. We're predicting y'all win tonight. Pick and Roll Podcast. Follow us at Indio Media Group on YouTube, on Facebook, the Facebook page. Like us. Follow Henny Hardaway on Facebook. If you're in South Jersey, Philly, North Jersey, wherever area, Delaware, we got the Super League coming up. 2nd year, man.
Yeah, man.
We got knocked out the playoffs, but it's all good. We had a good season.
Yeah, Final Four coming up Sunday.
Final Four coming up Sunday, man. You feeling good?
Feeling real confident.
Does the town knows that? Do they know this?
Yeah. We had a little back and forth spat. After the game. So
all right.
They told me that they were going to bring last year's trophy to the game.
Ooh.
We'll rub it in.
Ooh. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to pull up and I'm going to be a spectator for that one because I have no choice but to be a spectator.
Yeah. What are your predictions?
My predictions? I don't have any. I honestly don't have any predictions.
Outlaws versus the town, and then RDH versus underdogs.
I think RDH beats the underdogs. I think that's a given. I think we probably had what we needed to beat RDH, but we just didn't get it done.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the underdogs, they lack. They have a decent team, but I don't think they have enough players that do enough.
I think
they have a lot of one-dimensional players.
Yeah,
they have athleticism.
They have a lot of. They have
one-trick ponies.
They have 3 guys that play exactly the same.
Yeah, and they look exactly the same too.
Yeah.
It was the most confusing thing guarding them. I was like, number 1, 2, or 3. That's what I was calling them. I got him. Calling everybody him because I didn't know who was who. And they just got a lot of one-dimensional guys. And as much as a good a shooter Vlad is, I just, I don't know. I don't think it's that effective if you really want to take it away.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel.
I think underdogs, they're missing like a nice solid point guard.
Yeah,
someone that can bring the ball up and then not and let the other 3 guys that look the same play free.
You're missing a point guard next season. But all right, y'all. We out of here. Pick and Roll Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We out.